Remember New Earth.
Hey, I'm here to talk dead things. Yay.
Yay. Hey, Daryl Taylor.
Hello, get off my land, but hello.
You're still guarding that property, huh? You're still watching the
It never
camera?
ends. The war's never over.
The battle may be won, but the war continues, huh?
It's always.
Man, and Mr. Richard Chubtoad Sheldon.
Coral.
Jim Dietz will be joining us shortly. Guys, let's just get right into it. We're getting together sooner than I thought we would, quite honestly. But I knew we'd get together to talk before Fear re-upped itself. But there's just so much news came out and these trailers dropped. We knew they were coming, but I mean, wow, it definitely deserved an episode for us to talk to it. And Aaron, you had the pleasure of actually being at Comic-Con when these trailers were released to the world. And so a lot of stuff to talk about. I guess we can jump right into it. I mean, Aaron, how was it, man? How was Comic-Con and what's it looking like for The Walking Dead coming up?
Comic-Con was a fun and exhausting time. I always have a fun time at Comic-Con. I was very happy to have my lovely girlfriend Anna with me for most of Comic-Con. She was able to experience a Hall H on Saturday for the first time.
That's an experience, right?
Yeah, it's an experience in itself. I actually did not get to go to the Walking Dead panels for the first time. Those were on Friday. I didn't make it into Hall H on Friday because we were waiting in line for Saturday's Hall H. So yeah, but I did eventually see the trailers very recently, actually, because I honestly had no time to watch the Walking Dead trailers. I was busy doing other things. But I did go to several things involving the Walking Dead inside the showroom floor. They of course had a big AMC Walking Dead setup this year. I posted a picture. They had there's normally like a photo op thing. So this year they had Ezekiel's throne with the tiger, and
awesome.
it actually moved, like the head moved.
Oh, wow.
Because it was a real tiger. They sedated its only its head. No, that's okay. It was
Peter was there watching, huh? Yeah.
So like its head would move and stuff. You could sit on the throne and take a picture of it. And then as usual, they have like a cage full of zombies, so they kind of walk around and stand in there. And then you can go into a room and like more like scary stuff is happening. It's supposed to be like Negan's kind of prison essentially. That was kind of the idea.
The sanctuary, his
So it's
space,
better, it's better than last year, because last year was kind of
Yeah, last year was kind of what was it? It's like the Alexandria stuff. Regardless, yeah, they had the AMC set up inside. Outside, they had the Walking Dead quarters, which was like a part across the street. So this is like a part because there's always stuff that's going on around the convention center. So people that don't have badges to go in Comic-Con, they can still have fun in San Diego in the Gaslamp District. So they had like a Kong Skull Island set up, FX set up, a Adult Swim always has like a carnival now that's outside there. And so they had the Walking Dead quarters, sponsored by Mountain Dew. Do.
Oh, all right. Wow, new sponsors.
Always sponsorship. I made sure to take a picture. They had that Mountain Dew set up where it was like mix it up, so you could like squirt different flavors of Mountain Dew into one cup and drink. So they had water kind of roaming the area, and so I had my Mountain Dew. And I took a selfie of me with the water right next to me drinking Mountain Dew.
Good product placement, sir. You're respecting the product placement. Good job on that one. That's nice.
I'm keeping Passage alive. That's what I'm doing.
It's all part of Living Moss.
As you can hear, Jim Dietz has now joined us. Yes, Jim.
Sorry, I'm like,
No, we just started actually, so good
I
time.
don't know if you covered this or not, but I'm really curious about this, Aaron, if you don't mind me asking. Like, how long do you have to wait in the line on average to get in to see a panel? Like, did you get into Hall H at all, or
yes,
like?
Yeah, as I said, my girlfriend and I were able to get into Hall H on Saturday, which is like the big day because they have Marvel and DC, which are like the biggest panels as far as like fans that want to see giant panels happen, along with Stranger Things and some other panels. But so for that particular, for Saturday at Hall H, there are some people that have lined up since like the beginning of the week to be in there like first. There's a whole process. There's a whole process involved where you have to have wristbands, so you have to wait in line to get a wristband. If you have a wristband, you wait in line on that day, and if you have one, you're guaranteed to get inside of Hall H. So for us, what we did, since I was with a group, we had people taking shifts from the beginning of Friday morning.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness.
All the way to 10 o'clock in the evening when we finally got our wristbands.
All day? So you had somebody there in line all day, pretty much Friday.
We took shifts.
Right, okay.
Between how many of you though?
There was like 8 of us total, I think, and then you make friends in line, so they can kind of watch your spot a little bit too, that kind of thing. So it's like, but yeah, it's organization that's key. Unless you're just really cool about waiting outside in the hot heat on asphalt.
Hell no. I walked past people like that last year. And I was like, there's no way I would do that.
I'll see you on YouTube. I didn't say this line. Forget about it.
And the wristband thing's crazy because like we had people there since like 6 in the morning. There were people that got there at 9 a.m. and they didn't get wristbands. Like that's how like crazy the line is for Hall H in particular.
Yeah, that's what amazes me every year that you go. It seems like you always get into like all the the Hall H and a lot of really cool panels and stuff. And I just wonder, like, I hear the horror stories like from Daryl and other people have gone about people have to wait from like the week before or whatever to get their head to get into the hall. So it always kind of amazes me how much access you seem to have.
It's pretty, especially since I'm press and they don't care about press there. Like there's no like having a press badge means nothing.
It's nothing.
Like,
I was about to ask you that.
It's the same way in New York. It's the same way in New York Comic Con press means nothing.
it's all the same company. That's why. So it's like.
All right. I was about to ask you if you can just walk in. Is there a thing for press to just walk
I
in
know.
when it opens?
They get a comp ticket maybe, right? They let you in for free, possibly, right? You can make arrangements, but that's about it, right?
I mean Comic-Con's free for me because I'm press. I have that going for it, as far as I don't need to pay for a badge. But
That's
like,
about
as far as getting into stuff, unless you get emails and everything, so you can go to like press rooms. Like I got to go to the press room for the Tick, which is pretty cool. I got to interview all the stars of the Tick coming to Amazon this August. Do.
Oh, you're such a good corporate lemon. You're so good. You're so good.
Wow.
So like it doesn't go on to many other things beyond like you can go to like a camera, a press pit area, but you have to stand and like you have to stand the entire time if you're doing that like in Hall H and trying to take pictures of people.
Right.
But so yeah, for like the Hall H, yes, it's a lot of waiting, but then you're in there all day. You get to see a lot of cool. Like you see Steven Spielberg, be like, hey, let's watch the Ready Player One trailer, guys. It's me, Spielberg. But as far as other panels go, it depends on what you're seeing. Things like the CW shows and whatnot there, a room called Ballroom 20, which is small. It's like the second biggest hall there, and that's a big line. That can take a lot of time if you really want to see. You have to kind of take a few hours to wait around for it. But other panels, like I went to a panel for Rocko's Modern Life, which has a new movie coming out, or Batman Mask of the Phantasm coming out on Blu-ray for the first time.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we are very aware.
So, by the way, guys, that's also going to be in theaters for, I think, one night. They're releasing it. I don't know if you saw that, but Fathom Press is doing that. Yeah.
I know they're doing Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yes.
They're doing Mask of the Phantasm.
I'll try to find the link and send it to you guys. I did see that on my one of my feeds.
I'm Googling for tickets right now.
Yeah, yes. A certain, maybe not every market, but I know I saw a certain city.
Fathom events?
It could be Fathom or one of the ones like that. I'll find it, or you find it, or we'll find it. But it is being screened that one night because of the Blu-ray release.
So panels like that, I know they're doing it in LA. It's in a family, I know that. But
right.
The panels like that could take some time depending on how stacked. Like so, the one that I just described actually, Robert Kirkman was talking in between those panels, so that room was pretty good for me because I got to see Rocko's Modern Life and Nick Toon I really enjoy. Robert Kirkman talk about whatever he wanted to, and then Mask of the Phantasm was like, well, that's a sweet 3-zone panels, and all I do is wait for like 20 minutes in one line outside. So it just depends on what kind of thing you're trying to see, really. So
cool.
So that's like the general like way of Comic-Con from a panel perspective. As far as this Dead Quarters thing I was describing, is that they had Mountain Dew. They had like there's a whole like charging station where you can kind of sit on a lot of like crappy chairs, like car seats, and just random like stuff you find in the Walking Dead universe, just like random chairs out on the road and what have you. And while you're charging your phone, you can watch eventually they probably show the new trailers once they premiere, but you just watch clips from the Walking Dead on these TVs above, and there's like a DJ spinning, so like you cut to the beat of like Walking Dead remixes they're making up on the screen and whatnot. So that was neat. There was a batting cage.
Which was like Negan? Is that what the?
I mean, I guess because it's a bat, but like it was like at the end of it, there's like a target on a walker's head, and like it was like a mural of walkers and like a target over, so you just kind of swing the bat and try to hit that.
Awesome.
There's a walking arcade section where you can play pinball, and play that Walking Dead game that's at Dave & Buster's. They have that there.
Okay.
What else? There is some mannequins, and like you saw, I had a picture of me with the Dead Inside door. They had
I saw that. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
They had like that, and then like models of various characters, including like Daryl, Rick, Carol, and then one random blonde woman who I guess was probably supposed to be Maggie, but looked horrible. So I couldn't tell what it was supposed to be.
maybe it's Rick's old girlfriend, Jesse. Maybe you know, who knows?
When you said Rick's old girlfriend, like I have no idea what name that person has. So yeah, it was like a neat like area as far as like other like Walking Dead related thing. And yeah, the Robert Kirkman panel I mentioned. Since I didn't go to Walking Dead panels, but I did get to see Robert Kirkman just talk about stuff. He had a whole Q&A. He essentially just got on the podium and had it driven by Q&A. So like people would come up and just ask him questions. They didn't drop any major like bombs as far as things that are happening. Like I'm a huge Invincible fan, another Robert Kirkman comic book that's very popular. That's coming to an end very soon. But there's a movie in the works being developed by Seth Rogen and Goldberg, who currently they're working on Preacher and now they're doing Invincible. So I'm very curious where that's going to go. But I have no real information to share on that beyond the fact that it's in development. As far as Walking Dead, not like a lot of news because really you just can't talk about much. It's very fun to see Kirkman. He's a great speaker. He has kind of a Kevin Smith type personality where he's a big geek who knows how to be self-deprecating, also funny, but also informative about the things that he knows about as far as what he can talk about.
I think I read that someone asked him if he felt bad about killing off Glenn, and he asked if Steven Yeun was in the room, and Steven Yeun was not in the room, and he said no, I didn't.
Yeah, the first question you wrote, Aaron.
It was the first question. Yeah, the first. So like he was standing on the report. I did. I put a picture of it. What happened because it was a little kid like 8 wearing
That's the panel I watched a little while ago.
It was a little kid wearing a Rick Share hat. Walked up to the microphone. They had to point the microphone down because he's so tiny. And he asked, "Did you feel bad about killing off Glenn?" And it was just like that was the first question he got. It was hilarious. And but yeah, he said he asked if Steven Yeun was in the room. And he said no. And then he kind of like molded over. And he's like, "Well, like, I saw it with an audience, and when watching it, I was like, well, maybe that was a little much. Killing off both of them." Man, Steven Yeun. Like it was somewhat jokey, but also kind of it seemed like he was pondering a bit. It's like, well, I mean, it's nice to evolve the series and whatnot, but at the same time, that's a lot to take in.
He could be a bit much. Robert Kirkman can be personality.
He talks very much about how he has no emotion when it comes to the characters in his comic books.
Right.
He's able to just slaughter them, pretty maliciously when it comes to the comics. But
actually, he did post that. I see the little kid now. He's got the little Rick Grimes head. That's so cute. Wow.
Also, didn't you also mention that The Walking Dead is coming to a definite end at some point?
No.
I read an article about that too. Yeah.
No, Jim, they go through this every year where they go, "Do you have a definite ending?" They always ask him it somewhere. "Do you have a definite ending in mind?" And he always answers eventually when he knows. Eventually if he decides to end it, he knows how it's going to end, and that always turns into he's going to end Walking Dead. That's kind of
right.
I'm sure he probably knows what ending he has in mind, but
right.
That's what he was saying. Like he says, I finally thought of an ending that would be cool once it's time to actually end it. Like he has the story in his head. Like he knows how to do it. He didn't say when he's going to do it, but he knows how to do it. That's kind of what he's saying.
Every year, when a blogger tried to run and like they think they're going to get the next big story and they run and
it's on your newsfeed. You start clicking it. Right. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Well,
clickbait.
The panel I was watching a little while ago, somebody from Sweden that was there asked a question about will we ever see Walking Dead outside of the U.S. and Mexico, and there was Gimple and Kirkman kind of just dismissively kind of hinted at they would like to see Walking Dead Europe or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was all offhand, just goofing around, but I think it'd be great, Walking Dead Europe.
I'm certainly certain that AMC wouldn't mind having extra money to make up a third series. I know that. But as far as other Walking Dead related stuff at Comic-Con beyond the panels, I didn't see anything else.
What was the cosplay scene like? I'm sorry.
I did see some. There was some Rick Carl and Carols walking around.
Was that really good? Rick, the one that actually looks just like him, that dude, whatever his name is, Cecil or something, was he there?
Probably. I mean, they're like spinning images. So
some of them are paid actually to be there. Like, if you're a good cosplayer, like they'll actually pay you to come to the Comic-Con and walk around and take pictures and stuff. So
that's great for them. But yeah, as far I just know I saw people that look pretty convincingly like Rick, Carol, and Carl. A lot of girl Carls with the hair and all. It makes a lot of sense to see people cosplay as Carl. But there's probably Daryl's because there's always Daryl's. But as far as cosplay, I mean, there's a couple of shows around because you see the staff.
So there was no Travises or Strands or Daniel Salazar's. I mean, come on, really? I mean,
I
wish there was just a guy dressed as a boat. His name was Abigail. Not a lot of what's his son's name?
Yeah, exactly him. Frank Lane. Yeah, that's it.
No, not
Nick.
No, not Nick. Not Nickel.
Oh, Nicholas, right.
No, the dead son. Travis's son.
Oh, Chris. Yeah,
Chris. Not a lot of Chris is running around.
You shut your mouth.
Although I wish it did see Chris with road tracks on him because he got ran over, right? Is that
he got thrown from a vehicle, right? Yeah. It's spoiler alert. Yeah, and then he got shot, put down.
It's this podcast.
He got thrown through a windshield and then killed, slaughtered on the road. Yeah, that's it.
Trailers, I know those premiered.
No, and that's it. So again, you spent a lot of time there. It's so much to see at Comic-Con, but the trailers hit on July 21st, which I guess is exactly when they debuted. And it was good. This year there really wasn't any leaks. Last year there was so many fake leaks because everyone wanted to know who Negan killed, and there was so much hype around that. But there was nothing out there that I could see. And then eventually they both hit the Fear Walking Dead trailer and the Walking Dead trailer pretty much at the same time. Just to give you
a bit spoiled this year. I mean, it's just like, all right, there's more of this. Like, there's no cliffhanger.
I think they learned. I think they learned by not having a major cliffhanger.
Right.
To just be able to talk about it's this war.
I was gonna say we know what's happening. It's not like it's a big secret where it's headed. So.
Yeah.
The trailer was about 5 minutes long. It's 5.5 minutes long for the Walking Dead, and the Fear one was about 2.5 minutes long. But the Walking Dead one, I was just stunned. I watched it. I was like, oh man. I watched it on my computer. But I have a really good sound system attached to my computer, and I'm glad I did because I turned the volume up. I was loving every second of that trailer. I'm like, it was good. It was really got me interested again.
What pants were you wearing?
My the pants. That's the ones I was wearing. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Oh my.
I think I literally just saw the trailer today for the first time, and I was very impressed with the Walking Dead trailer. That was a solid trailer. Like it was. I mean, we know what's coming. I mean, people are not going to go into it completely, but we know All Out War is coming, which is a big thing as far as comics go. And they gave you a good depiction of what kind of action is going to be happening here. Like I know we've talked about this where it's going to be a lot faster paced this season, which makes sense.
Oh, thank God.
What we know is happening. And not that the is the worst thing that's going on. There's a lot of really good episodes last season in the midst of some bad episodes last season. But like this season, I think the necessity is to have a lot of forward momentum between Negan and Rick on the sides of the armies. And they show a lot of like cool action, like stunt action going on that I was pretty impressed with.
I love
Daryl riding a motorcycle, blowing shit up.
That's Daryl.
That was pretty awesome, man.
But like the editing at the beginning, I really dug where it's all silence. As far as dialogue, it's school playing, and the soundtrack choice playing, and they showed a lot of this really cool setup and everything.
And the really tense percussive woodblock.
Yeah.
Really lent itself well, I thought, to that too.
Everyone's chilling out. Tara's eating a Twizzler, just chilling on the bridge there.
Right.
A lot of build up, a lot of suspense.
I like the music too behind it. I like the music on the trailer as well. Like it feels like it's a big thing. Like it feels important.
I'm gonna play that music at the end of the show. Kind of close it out. So it's pretty cool. It's called what was the name of the group again that did that song? Hang on a second. I actually downloaded it, but I didn't even look at it. It's an Irish.
Flaming Chris's.
Thank you. No, it's called Dropkick Murphys. Actually, close. You actually.
I know the Dropkick.
Oh yeah.
It's called Prisoner Song by Dropkick Murphys. That's who it was. Yeah. So
they showed a lot in this trailer because there is that end point where you have Rick opening his eyes, he appears to be in a bed, and he has a new haircut. And I mean, we know we presumably have an idea where that's going as people that read the comics. That seems a bit much to show, I would say, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily reveal anything as to what happens. I mean, it identifies that there will be something to occur that involves Rick needing to get a haircut. But,
well, I mean, I think it's more like a WTF moment to put it. I mean, that's why they put it after the trailer proper. It's kind of stinger, Just
so everybody for the last 2-3 days can sit there all over the world going, they're going to do it. He's going to get up out of his coma, and it will all have been a dream. People, that is not where it's
not where it's going. No, that's it. He said that a million times. If Kirkman said anything,
right.
He said it's not a dream. He said it. He said it like point blank many times because it's just not going to be that way. As much as you want it to be, it's not going to be like that.
This isn't 1982. This is not Dallas. Let's just move on.
But I mean, it did show one thing though, that Rick does survive survive the current conflict, right? I mean, he doesn't get killed off by Negan.
Right.
Maybe he's a bit. He's got a cane, but at least
I don't know that.
well, I mean, unless it's a dream of him being older. That's what you're saying. I mean, then that's
All I saw was Rick has a haircut at some point. I don't know what that word. That's in the second episode. I don't know what's going on.
he looks a lot older there. I mean, that's he's definitely
Maybe he dyed his hair. I don't know. Maybe
No, but here's the thing: is I mean, Rick's gotten pretty gray. It's just it's so long. He's got that dark in there too. Shortened up, it could be gray like that. Because if you look closely, yeah, his hair is white or gray, but his face doesn't look any older. It looks about the same age he is now.
Okay,
He lived at least long enough to make that inspiring speech in the trailer.
Yeah, it could be the first episode. Maybe the end of the first episode.
Could be who knows, but I mean, that's 2 minutes I can tell you didn't die. So,
that's it.
He doesn't die at least in the first episode. That's all.
You know he's not going to die though.
I'm trying to hold this on to people that are like concerned about Rick.
Oh, come on.
I'm concerned about a time jump though. That's I don't necessarily need or want that, and him all old and banged up either. But I guess maybe that's where it could be going. Who knows?
You
I
might
mean,
get a few months. You might get a time jump of a few months, maybe.
I don't think we're going to get a time jump as long as we're dealing with Negan.
So I can see the war going on a little bit, like a few months. I can see the war going on for like 3-4 months or something like that. I can see that.
I'm just saying the time jump they did in the comics was after the.
Yeah, but I know, but I don't see them doing that per se. I mean, well, actually, if you think about it, actually they might, because if Carl's going to live, you will have to anticipate his aging.
right.
And it might be a way to do that.
Well,
Well,
after
the whole
18
show,
now,
yeah.
he was
No,
10 when he
the whole
started.
show.
He's 18 now. I mean, it ain't been 8 years in the show.
That's true. They've already had to swallow that one, right? Puberty hitting.
That's what I mean. They might jump it a little bit. And that would be a bad thing for the show if they jump it in time a little bit, get him a little older, his daughter's a little older.
Although, I mean, who knows? I mean, because look at like one of the reasons, or what I remember reading anyway, the whole Sophia thing was the kid came back that season and was so damn tall that they were just
That's
like,
what I mean. Like they already know the issues they have to deal with. It happened with Lost, like that with the kid that they had there. Like they know that's a problem. They know it's a problem, and they might not want to get rid of Carl yet.
But his aging hasn't thrown me. Like
Me neither.
Like, it's kind of I know we know if we sit back and think it's only been 3 years since he woke up from the coma, give or take, right? That's but it's like in reality we've lived our lives for actually 7 years watching the show. So it's like
Right.
it doesn't throw me that he's aged so fast and his hair's grown so fast.
Well,
And
I mean,
might
it's also the stress of this. I mean, let's look at Obama. Like, it's not like
Right.
he turned gray pretty quick after being president. I mean, it's the stress going on. It's not just the fact that he got older.
But you
It's
can
just,
start gray in a year.
Yeah, you can,
As short as a year. I've done it. I was married. It's quick.
there's people in their 20s that go gray pretty quickly. It happens.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
my
So it's
dad
like-
had a full head of gray hair by the time he was 24.
But there's
Steve
something-
Martin was born in a gray hair cocoon.
It's not like you're going to do a run for some Just for Men or something. You're not going to risk life and limb against zombies for
Now
something.
that Glenn's gone, he would have done that run, but he can't now. So.
But there's
He's too busy taking photos for you.
There is something good that can happen with that. Like if you can get through Maggie, if they don't want to keep that pregnancy going on for too long, and you kind of want to jumpstart where she is. I mean, there's some good ways to kind of, for writers to get to a place they want to get to. Like change relationships between characters. It's a quick way to do that, to flip alliances and stuff, and then kind of get into that why things have changed. I mean, they've done it quite a few times, so I could see them thinking about that, going, that might be a good idea to do that, and we can get some things done, shake up some things, during the season. I could see it, like a mid-season, something that they do like
well,
mid-season.
that's my next question. Like, would they wrap up that image by the mid-season, or would they just carry that thread maybe throughout the season? I don't know. I mean, that's
It's a great question. I think trailers for The Walking Dead only focus on what they've shot, and I don't.
Right.
think
that's
they've
the first
shot
3 or 4 episodes usually by this point, right? And it's like that's all they've got in the can right now. So
I mean, but at the same time, filming Rick with that kind of look, I mean, you can film that anytime, really, right? So,
true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. All I know is this. I mean, I've admitted this, and I have no problem sharing it again. I love the action part of the series, and this trailer delivered big time, almost as much as the one. Well, probably actually more than the one when they were in Terminus, and more than the season 3 one when they had introduced the governor and that whole thing. Those are the ones that stick out in my mind, trailer wise. This one, I mean, wow, just seeing them kick butt. I just wonder if they actually did it because they had to, or because they actually listened to some of the fans and watched the ratings going down in this experimental. Oh, we're so beaten down by Negan. Like, is that why they're giving us what we want now, or at least what I want? I mean, I don't know.
you know the comic, like because there's a war.
No, I know that part. I get that. It's, why are they giving it to us like this?
We can argue that it's convenient that at the same time the ratings have plateaued and we're following up a slower season. We happen to be getting a big action-packed war, but I mean the comic and where we left off of the season does necessitate an action-packed war scenario. So I mean, it worked out for fans that are really looking for some fast momentum in the season, more action-packed stuff, less of the kind of ponderous and weird that I appreciate as far as like garbage people or John Swift, Michonne and Rick for an episode. So,
Sorry, that Romulan chick has got to go, dude.
The Romulan, yeah.
She has to go. I hate her, man.
she popped up in the trailer.
I know.
Yeah, she did.
Something else I noticed about the trailer, it had like a lot of little, it had inspirational speeches from Rick and
Maggie.
also from Maggie. But like there are also like these little lines and moments in it too, like the beginning with Negan, asking if he had his pants on, or the part with Ezekiel, where he's like, thanks. He's like, for being such a cool dude.
Oh, yeah, Jerry
to Ezekiel, yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a cool little moment there. That's the kind of thing I like about Walking Dead,
Every shot of
yeah.
every shot of Ezekiel in that trailer was magnificent because you're seeing that those dreadlocks in action. It's like this is the most cinematic Walking Dead you can get right now by having this character on screen fighting against people.
He said cinematic.
Yeah,
They cut the trailer cinematic, didn't they? I was going to say they cut it. The way it was edited, it was very much like a modern movie trailer, but at least somewhat of a movie trailer. I mean, it was definitely cinematic.
I mean, the cinematic and there's just fancy cutting and that's what it was. But I mean, the iconography of seeing a gray dreadlocked figure fighting in a war is there's something there that is unique to something like The Walking Dead.
There was some nice cinematography going on in some of these shots.
Sure.
I mean, the shot of the behind the shoulder shot of Ezekiel as he walks through the troops in the kingdom. That was very memorable for me.
Ezekiel.
Right. Well, I mean, he's very very visual, very visually striking. Kerry Rhodes in that role. The scene where we see Daryl on the bike, when they have the kind of J.J. Abrams light behind him of the sun, but it's like shot from below.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, it's very very nice. I really appreciate some of the shots in this, and the shot of Tara like kind of pointing her gun and saying bang,
right, like shooting it,
like a little bit off camera. I mean, really, I thought there were some really well composed shots in this trailer after watching it a few times, and that makes me excited because I like it when it's I like a lot of action, but I like the story too. I like those moments, like we said before, and I agree with you guys. After the plateau with the ratings, probably they're trying to sell some sizzle with their steak to try to get some of the faithful back. So.
I hope so. I mean, I hope that's the reason. I mean, like you said, the war is coming. It's inevitable, but the way that they're presenting it is very attractive right now, and the thought they put into that trailer to cut it that way is just I loved every minute of it. I watched it a lot.
It reminds me a lot of Game of Thrones. I mean, they're not the same, but it reminds me of this big battle that everyone knows from the books, or you've heard about it. It's a big thing that's coming. This war. It's coming. It's a lot of things that have led up to it. Well, I feel like Walking Dead is the same thing, but this thing's coming now. They've been leading up to it all season. we're finally there. I mean, they knew they were getting to this point, and they were excited to get to this point.
And I think also like the Game of Thrones trailers, Daryl. I mean, you make a really great point. There's nothing spoiled. Something I really enjoyed about the Game of Thrones trailers is they didn't spoil any of the story for me at all. And the same with this. I mean, we know generally in broad strokes, in large story beats, what's going to happen. Obviously, everybody's going to war, but like it doesn't spoil any of the minutiae or any of the nitty-gritty of the story at all.
Nothing. Except maybe like the Father Gabriel in a room with Negan. Okay, that's a little. How to get there? Like, yeah, all right, something's gonna happen. But
certainly gone wrong. Yeah,
that's a great point, Daryl.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, just to give you some comparison, you'll laugh at this one. They both released the trailers at about the same time on July 21st, and so far, The Walking Dead trailer has 4.9 million views. The Fear the Walking Dead trailer has 220,000 views.
Wow.
Just saying, not just saying. So I mean, it does show the different level of interest between these two shows, and you could say, well, it's a mid-season trailer, they're midway through it. All right, maybe you could say that, but still, it's a pretty big, a big gulf, if you will. But
there's nothing big to anticipate. I mean, the Fear the Walking Dead didn't end on like a major cliffhanger or even a lead up to a battle. It was just.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think Fear was leading up to a showdown for sure between like the Otto settlers and the Native Americans.
Right.
Yeah, but it's
and then Madison and her family caught in the middle. And you really see that in the trailer too. I mean, it looks like they're trying to make some kind of alliance that isn't quite working out. I'm sorry.
I know, but if you make it, it's not. But what I mean is, it's not very. It doesn't leave you all excited. Like that last, the last episode we watched, right. It doesn't leave you all excited like that.
But how did the trailer leave you? After you watched the trailer, how did you feel like that?
After I watched the trailer, it's like I expect that to happen.
So nothing was like what you okay, all right, what's gonna happen right now?
Because you know that's the setup. Like you know that water's gonna go. The only thing it did for me was it reminded me, oh yeah, now we know why they had the whole thing with the water. Because that's what they're going to fight. It's going to be a battle to get that water.
And Jim, you said something interesting. They didn't reveal too much. I think they revealed a lot on the Fear the Walking Dead trailer. I mean, I even wrote some notes here. Madison, you see her talking to Strand, so that means they met up. Daniel and her meet up somehow. She's holding her hands up, and he's holding a gun to her head. So she's at the dam. She finds the dam. She meets the dam people. She's even talking to Lola a lot, the head of the dam people. So I mean, they showed a lot more beyond where they just are right now with the ranch and the tension with the Native Americans. I mean, it's
right. I think with the main show, they can get away with showing like little snippets cut together like they did. But I think with this show, they really need to sell it more and kind of explain it more to people who don't watch it or who fell off of it about why it's interesting.
It's like we're not on a boat. They're interacting with other new people. If you didn't watch it before, or if you watched it and you're not sure about where you think we might be going with it, we have some things happening. Like there is some connective tissue. We're getting this group back together again. You kind of have to do it a little bit.
On this topic, I have a question for Aaron.
Yeah,
I know you were in other lines and stuff, but walking around or just talking to people there at Comic-Con, what was the line for the Walking Dead panel like versus the line for the Fear the Walking Dead? Did they put that one in Hall H too?
They put them both in Hall H, and they put Fear the Walking Dead first on purpose. So that took place on Friday, and so they stacked it a certain way, which was Fear the Walking Dead, then Game of Thrones, and then what's after that? I forget what's after that one. Yeah, okay, and then I guess Preacher was eventually in the same day in Defenders after that. And I was there for Preacher and Defenders actually, but
oh, cool.
Yes, I got to see the full first episode of Defenders, which was it's good.
We need you on the next DC TV podcast talking about the Preacher stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we can work out. But regardless, they do Fear the Walking Dead first on purpose because they want to make sure people actually stay for that panel. And so it's like the same length of waiting for that. It's Hall H.
So they're combined.
It's not combined just one after the other, but they do Fear the Walking Dead before Walking Dead because they know Walking Dead's more popular, so people want to see just Walking Dead and then leave.
I'm just saying they don't clear the Walking Dead or they don't clear one out.
Hall H is not clear out at all, so you can be there all day, which is why it's such a long line because people aren't really going to leave generally for those days.
That's why you can't get in if you don't wait on those lines.
Yeah, it's not an easy task to get in after the fact. Let me say this about the trailer for Fear the Walking Dead. I'm completely with Daryl. I get it. I can't say I was thrilled by where things are. Head I need to get this right now. It's more like, yeah, okay, this is where it's going to be for whatnot. But that last episode just felt so underwhelming to me. Like I felt it's just kind of like, all right, that thing happened, and he died, and Walker's like that much closer to being like it's just like okay, it just kind of felt like a shrug. So as a series, like it looks compelling enough as far as there's alliances being formed, and there'll probably be a lot of zombie action, which will look great because the zombie action always looks great. But like as far as a story and set of characters, I'm excited to be back with. It's less of an enchantment there. It's just more like, yep, okay, well, let's see where it goes.
Well, the trailer reviews definitely concur with that. And just real quick, I was looking at YouTube for a second. Stranger Things trailer has 6.7 million downloads right now. Just to let you know.
It's also a great when you start your Vincent Price on there and then the thriller themes like backing up the whole thing, oh my god, this is like I like Stranger. I can't say it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, but I really like Stranger Things. I was happy to binge about it for like a weekend. But that trailer for season 2 is like, oh my god, that's a great movie. Therefore, you thriller on it. Oh yeah.
They had me at Dragon's Lair.
Oh, me too, Jim. Yeah, like, where's Space Ace? That's next, right?
That is such a weird phenomenon because I'm not into Stranger. I enjoyed it, like Aaron, I enjoyed it. But it was something I watched and I didn't think about it again. It's like it wasn't something like I stick with. But the way that they're able to just dip it, engulf themselves in nostalgia in a way, because it could be a turn off to people if you don't do it right? You could try to do that, it doesn't work. But they found a way to like tap into that and just get people just going crazy.
I was one of those
Goldbergs. Yeah.
I was one of those kids. You take out the phantasm and all that of the whole show. Just that I could be one of those kids in that group playing D&D. I mean, that is my life in the 80s.
Dragon's Lair 2?
And Dragon's Lair.
Hell yeah, baby.
So yeah, Fear the Walking Dead certainly had a trailer that we watched, and it's decently edited, but I can't say that huge impact.
Yeah,
like you said, it just kind of showed some of the plot points we could kind of guess already, and it did show a lot more than the regular Walking Dead trailer. But like I said, it kind of has to in a way. People doesn't seem like people are really sold on the show. Even people who are like casual viewers are like, well, that was better, but I'm not really. I'll like to see it like I am the parent show. So
I thought it was a decent trailer. I didn't get super hyped over anything, although I did like the Daniel and her meeting up because that immediately puts thoughts into my head of him getting involved because obviously Ophelia, but right. she's on the other side. Just the thoughts of where that can go. That was kind of exciting, but there was a lot about it that I was like, I'm ready.
Well, I mean, again, the change of leadership is happening between season 3 and 4. So this is the last of the Erickson regime, so to speak, of Fear the Walking Dead. It was switching over to Gimple starting for season 4. So maybe things will take a turn. Maybe they'll make it more action. Maybe make it, maybe that season 4 trailer is the one to watch out for. That one's going to be probably really designed to reel in people and get them watching. And they'll tease something. Maybe who knows what's going to happen? It could be a cliffhanger. I mean, anything can happen between now and then.
Right.
All right, cool.
Well, it's interesting also to see the son, the crazy one. Now that the father's
Troy.
gone, now what do you do with Troy? Like you set him up to do this thing. You wound up the little psychopath to get him to a certain point, and now you got him. And it's not even though his father's just as nuts, but he was at least a calming thing for this guy. Now you don't have that at all. So now what do you do? Like, it shows some scenes where it's like, Madsen has a look up now. How do you deal with this guy?
Well, but Madsen is able to calm him down. I mean, he does listen to her.
No, he listens to her, like last season, right? But with some of the cuts that they made for the trailer, which showed, like you said, it shows a lot. It seems she's losing control now. He's starting to really flip out, and it might be a bad thing because they probably could work something out with the group, with the American Indians. They could work something out with them. But when you have someone, you can't have this crazy dude. He's not the guy that works out a peaceful trade negotiation. That's not him. So it's going to be a problem. Like, it seems like there's going to be an issue now that you're going to have to deal with this guy wanting to go to war now, especially if they think that if they're responsible because of what they did, is responsible for his father wanting to kill himself. Because they think he's probably committed suicide. There could be he could still be on the warpath wanting to fight no matter what they do.
So Fear comes back in September, I believe, right before we lead into the October release of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, September 10th.
Thank you.
And then the Parent Show comes back on my birthday, October 22nd.
Oh,
yeah. Let's get that cake ready, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can I take a minute for a couple things?
Sure.
If we're done talking about, is everybody done talking about the trailer?
Yeah, we're going to go on to the next topic in a minute. Go ahead. Go.
Cool. I said two quick things. First of all, I know Aaron and I are both big fans of the Telltale Walking Dead games. If you have not had the chance to play them, there's a Humble Bundle right now if you go to humblebundle.com. You can get Season 1 and Season 2 and the Walking Dead Michonne game, plus 50% off the new season that's coming out, plus a bunch of other games for $8.
Wow.
Right now, $8.83. It's a Humble Bundle. Basically, they donate some of the proceeds to charity. They've cut deals with indie developers. They do these bundles of games, and they're always really good deals, and some of the money goes to charity. But if you were interested in getting into those Walking Dead games, that is a super great price. Like I said, all of Season 1, all of Season 2, and the Walking Dead Michonne game. Normally, that would cost a lot. It also comes with the Game of Thrones game, a bunch of other stuff, too.
Is it only for the tabletop? Is it only for the desktop computers? Or
it's only for computers,
Well,
yeah.
but actually, Daryl, hold on. The PlayStation Network is running a sale, too. I noticed that Michonne is like $2.99 now. So
really?
You can make your own little bundle on PSN right now. They're running a sale.
Yeah.
So check that out. There's a good deal on those Telltale games. Actually, the Back to the Future one's also like $3. They're all Telltale games. So it's a good.
And if you're willing to shell out the big price of $15, they'll throw in all of their new Batman Telltale games and Minecraft Story Mode up to like
nice.
Wow.
Chapter 8 or 9 or something. My kids love that. So yeah, if you're interested in those Walking Dead games, I really love them. I thought they were great. And they aren't like what's the word I'm looking for? Like twitchy. You don't have to be like a real super like fast expert gamer to play them. They're more about the storytelling and the adventure and choices you make having consequences down the line. Things like that. That's the kind of game Telltale makes. So yeah, like I said, $8.83 right now, and some of the money goes to charity. So it's a win-win if you want to get those games. I just wanted to mention that. The second thing I wanted to mention since we last recorded, George Romero passed away. And if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, if you're a fan of zombies at all, then you owe something to Mr. George Romero. He was a favorite son of the city of Pittsburgh. He filmed almost all of his movies here in Pittsburgh with local crew and a lot of times local cast. Night of the Living Dead was filmed. I mean, I'm about 10 miles from the mall where Dawn of the Dead was filmed. Mall. And they used to have the Comic Cons would have like the cast members from Dawn of the Dead, and sometimes George himself when he was in better health. For charity, you could pay, I think it was $100 and get like a tour of the mall with them. I always wanted to, but I never had the extra $100 to do it. I did get to cook for George and Tom Savini and some other associates of theirs in my restaurant once, and that was a great honor. I had signed a few things, and he was a very gracious guy and super nice. He meant a lot to the city. He started some, as what we call zombies today, were basically defined by him in Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead. His movies really like started this whole zombie craze that everyone's into now. So
come on, Barbara.
Yeah, they're coming to catch you, Barbara. But I mean, Night of the Living Dead was so innovative in so many ways.
Yeah, it was. Aaron, I got a question for you real quick if I can. Did he say anything? Did Kirkman say anything about George Romero's death?
Unfortunately, no. And I had a question. I was like waiting to ask him a question concerning Romero if he had ever had any interaction with him specifically or whatnot. And I know because Romero has commented on The Walking Dead that he's not the most favorable the comments towards The Walking Dead. So I was curious if he had any insight as far as not necessarily on that, but as far as just the influence that man had on things. Someone else asked another question that was related kind of to Romero, which kind of spoiled it. It didn't really go anywhere. So it was unfortunate like the hero against Andor. Kirkman did post an image. And like with a little like message to it, saying R.I.P. George Romero on the day that he passed away. I know that, but at Comic-Con, nothing major as far as Romero's death. I wanted to add to what Jim was saying because I certainly had a lot of respect for Romero. I mean, we're on this podcast, we're like The Walking Dead. I assume we're all zombie fans in general. I am a huge zombie film fan. It's a genre I really do love because of I love horror movies in general, and with zombie films specifically, because the focus can't be on zombies specifically, just because the nature of them is so inconsequential because all they want to do is they're just a threat. They're not characters, with exceptions based off recent movies like War Bodies, what have you. But the movies themselves, something like Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead, it deals specifically with characters. The best zombie movies are ones that deal with characters and the situation they're in, and whether they're trapped in a scenario or dealing with other themes or ideas. I find that to be fascinating, especially when it's done right. And Romero certainly managed to do it right a few times. He did Night of the Living Dead, which is has plenty of influence and everything. It's a great film in itself and has a lot of ideas going on concerning race relations, what have you. Dawn of the Dead moves into consumerism, what have you. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Period. Certainly, me too. Certainly one of my favorite zombie movies. That and like Shaun of the Dead, honestly, are just like the tops for me. And Night of the Living Dead, honestly, Day of the Dead. The makeup effects in that film are phenomenal. There's like I'm good at knowing the tricks of how to do things, but there's still some things in Day of the Dead where like how did they do some of that because there's some amazing work being done there. And then just the movie itself. It's of the three zombie films. It's third on my list. But I still think it's a great one to watch and everything. Land of the Dead, I like Land of the Dead quite a bit too. I think that's a fun return. I wasn't as big on Survival of the Dead and Island of the Dead, and I always wish that Romero would have the chance to do kind of like one last great big zombie movie again to kind of go out with a bang. And unfortunately, that didn't get to happen. But I mean, and there's plenty of other films you can talk about too. In his filmography, he did the original The Crazies, which has a lot of ideas I thought were cool. The Creep Show, is a fantastic horror anthology written by Stephen King. Recommend where George Romero has some really memorable moments, including Stephen King in a terribly acted performance in a creepy little segment of that movie.
You done did it now, Jordy Verrill.
I mean, there's films like Martin. There's like he's contributed so much. He's always had he's never been a studio guy, so he's always had kind of an independent bent. And because of that, I think he was able to do a lot more than some people would have let him do if he was working with a major studio. So that's why you get a lot of that social commentary. Night of the Living Dead is one of the first movies to be a horror movie to really inject that kind of aspect within a film. Besides just having like creature feature going on, there is ideas there that people have analyzed and researched and led to other films that he did. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff he contributed to the horror genre, let alone the concept of zombies. I mean, you have White Zombie and movies like that from the 30s, 40s, what have you. But the zombie concept, like you mentioned, it's what we know as zombies because of Romero. And he was he is one of those kind of titans of horror that contributed so much to the genre and had left a major stamp on it. So it's it was sad to hear about his passing. He's an older man. He's certainly done a lot with his life. It's not it's inevitable, but at the same time, it does have an effect, especially for us doing a podcast that's based off a show that wouldn't be around without him. So
Yeah, well said.
I mean, even independent film. I mean, the way they financed that, and that literally did, kind of paved the way for movies like Halloween later, and even other indie films, indie horror films down the line. So, as just a quick addendum, because of that dinner with at Gypsy with Romero and Savini and stuff, one of my servers ended up going to the Tom Savini makeup school and is now working as a prosthetic artist. So.
Wow, a huge impact. That's amazing. I don't know what comments Romero made about The Walking Dead. All I know is that that style, or this, I should say, this style of zombie that still is the most prevalent today, like the ones that walk and don't run and they don't talk really. Well, they kind of talk in one of his movies, but it's kind of towards the end there. But for the most part, that Romero style zombie is really what The Walking Dead kind of is. I mean, I want to say he created that whole thing, right?
Kirkman said they're Romero zombies.
Okay.
And that's what he said. That was what Romero was saying, that he really doesn't give him credit for it. That's kind of in the comments over the years.
Oh, it was okay.
That Romero was saying that that Kirkman doesn't really give credit to where that came from, where his Walking Dead ideas came from.
It's a bit of I mean, it's Hollywood stuff and piece celebrity type thing where it's all a lot of egos and what have you going around, and it's also misquotes going on as well, like kind of saying something passing, but something gets turned to an internet article, gets how that goes. I would add that I think part of it is that Romero has been wanting to do another zombie movie. That was his idea, and things like The Walking Dead and World War Z, he made comments about where essentially he's writing them off because for him, a person that makes independent films, essentially, it's become very hard and challenging to secure a studio and a budget that can afford to do what he wants to do with the genre versus what's popular with audiences, which is a lot more action-driven cinema as opposed to something that's probably more intimate, which is what Romero would likely be doing. So that's more or less kind of bad feelings, I think, between the two.
Let's not forget I'm sorry. I was going to say I really like Monkey Shines too. That's a nice, creepy movie. And he made a really odd movie with Tom Savini and Ed Harris called Night Riders. It was like a retelling of King Arthur, but with bikers that travel around in a carnival. And it was always like this weird kind of just quirky movie, but it's kind of weird and cool in some way. It's kind of that independent spirit he had in his work. So I liked it.
What I was saying was that I prefer the Romero style zombie over the more, I guess we're seeing World War Z type, the running, infected, crazy, type of zombie. I like more of this stumbling, walking type of walker, not the climbing walls. It's just too crazy. I think I didn't like that. The movie was okay. I just didn't like the way the zombies behaved, I guess.
I mean, they weren't even zombies.
Yeah, they were just crazy. They were just infected.
Well, they were more. I thought of them more as what I like about it, probably because they weren't zombies and it's something different. It was more of in the frame of mind of what was it? 30 days later,
28 days
28 days later, where they weren't really zombies, but it was just something where you put their bodies, whatever it was that did it to them, it was like they amped them up to a point of they just turned them into something else totally. Like they weren't human. Almost.
It becomes a whole other debate about what makes a zombie, and I've generally talked about the idea of having a lack of consciousness that's focused only on one thing, which is pursuing and eating or killing others. But regardless, what I've generally said about the subject as far as slow zombies versus fast zombies, just give me a good movie. Like if it works, it works. Like I really like 28 Days. I like 28 Weeks Later a little bit more. Actually, I think that movie has some really cool stuff.
I like both of them.
And I like the Dawn of the Dead remake by Zack Snyder. Still his best movie. It's a fantastic. It's a fantastic reimagining of what Dawn of the Dead does.
Well, that's one of his great movies. He has plenty. Go ahead.
Yeah, he has two. But
the other two, you're talking about Man of Steel and Superman versus Batman. They're both fantastic here. And I agree with you. I completely 100% could not disagree with
Here
your
we go.
assessment of how great those films are.
Craig's gonna have to edit all that out now. Come on, guys.
Are you kidding me? It stays in, brother.
I like it at 300, and I admire a lot of Watchmen. Regardless, I admire a lot of Watchmen. What I was saying is with Dawn of the Dead, again, that's one of my favorite movies ever. So the idea of remaking Dawn of the Dead, it was like, he had no movies at that time, and that's also written by James Gunn, who's doing Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm like, what's this going to be? I saw that movie 4 times in theaters. I loved that remake. I thought it did a great job being this great action comedy horror film that just really worked well. So I mean, that
was a good movie for once. Okay.
Yeah,
I like from James Gunn. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, George A. Romero, as I said, a titan of the he'd be up for consideration on the Mount Rushmore horror film directors.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
He should.
Yeah,
Let's see. It'd be Bava and Carpenter and Romero and
James Whale could be in there.
maybe James Whale or Wes Craven.
Wes Craven, yeah, I would say.
Hooper.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Big Mount Rushmore.
Pretty big.
What do you think about it?
Did you say Hitchcock?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's
That's suspense.
Suspense, not horror.
Yeah, not hard at all.
Yeah.
Shut up, Trumps. I'm kidding.
So we can't have a suspense hill behind or in front of.
That's a different mountain. Different mountain, dude.
No.
Yeah.
Brian De Palma on a slightly smaller mountain.
A smaller mountain that looks exactly like Hitchcock's mountain, but bigger.
Right.
Well, again, death of a legend. Rest in peace, Mr. Romero, and we'll certainly miss you in your films that you produce. So, all right. Last piece of news really we had was this Darabont stuff again surfacing in the news this week. I don't know if it was conveniently timed to go with the Comic-Con buzz around The Walking Dead. I don't know, but some emails he provided were released, and needless to say, they were just like he flew off the handle when he was with the show. Obviously, he seemed like he was unhinged. I mean, these emails that he wrote. I don't know if this is the way it is in Hollywood. If this is the way they talk to each other, but man, this is
Well, they do. You look at those Sony emails. Some of them were like some of those Sony emails were that fire, that full of that fire and venom.
And really,
about these shows.
yeah, definitely venom. I mean, you can read this. I sent you guys an article here from Variety, just got published a couple days ago, and you can see some excerpts from those emails. And I don't think the emails really prove anything except that they're trying to say that he was unhinged, but he's trying to say that he deserves a bigger piece of the show, and that AMC is using accounting trickery or financial trickery to devalue or undervalue The Walking Dead because it's owned by one of their subsidiaries and they're kind of renting it to themselves, and they're undervaluing the royalties that he should still be getting to this day for his contribution of creating or being the creator of The Walking Dead.
He set it up, right? He's kind of saying that he set this whole thing up.
Well, he did. I mean,
there was no show without Victor.
Right. So I mean,
so he's saying if I set this thing up, like if it's me, like if I set this whole thing in motion, he's thinking I should get more of a piece of the pie.
Right.
Didn't he shop it around for like 6 years before?
HBO turned it down. Right? Yeah, I was gonna say FX turned it down. A lot of networks turned it down. Yep.
Yep.
The emails, if anything, gave me more perspective on why I'm somewhat annoyed that they didn't give Darabont more of a chance, like puts me more on his side. I mean, honestly, I don't care either way.
You see his frustration in those emails, right?
You see his frustration. Like people want to chalk up, the problems of season 2 to Darabont, but I'm looking at this and I'm thinking this seems more like AMC's problems that they had. Like they were not.
Yeah.
So they had a show that was a hit in its first season, and somehow they short-sighted it, where they didn't give it as much of a budget. They didn't give Darabont time to do something. They wanted him to deliver while having minimal resources. I don't think anybody, let alone the producer of a massively successful series, would be able to handle that kind of pressure responsibly without being given the proper resources to work with. So I see more of Darabont's. Like I look at season 2, which we did our episode. We talked about favorite episodes of Walking Dead, and we all had a lot of episodes of season 2 in there. But looking back at that, I'm like, I don't know if like Darabont's the guy to blame for being on the farm for so long. It seems like they didn't give him a chance to do what he could have wanted to do with that. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's true.
Well, what's interesting is things that people might have complained about, things they didn't like, a look of the character, like some of the looks, some of it, time spent in certain places. It seemed like he had the same complaints because he was constricted. Yeah,
he's given a bunch of writers. He wasn't like, he wasn't I guess collaborating. The cooperation aspect wasn't there. Like they weren't like on the same page.
Right.
You have less of a budget to work with, so yeah, you can only go to so many locations if you have no money to work with. Like there's a lot there that's just showing me, yeah, I'd be pissed off too. I'd be sending emails that are trying to make right the ship in a better, an intense way, I guess.
Right. Well, what's hard though, but the thing that's hard about these kind of things is you always lose when a creator or whatever leaves a show, a project, or show, or whatever, or they're fired and they try to win it in the public. They never seem to be able to, because sometimes when people have this love for a property, they get very defensive about that property. So now the person that might have created it and brought it in, they become the person attacking their property. The kind of thing. You kind of have that kind of personal ownership with it. And when you ask the average fan of the show, the first response is, well, his stuff sucked when he was on the show and they got something better, and now I like it better and he's gone. And they don't really think about all that other stuff that we're talking about right now. It's not really easy to get people to care. They just want their property and they want their entertainment. They don't really want to get into the other stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about this right now. I have no idea what actually happened as far as how things go. It's all conjecture. I can only read into it. So I'm certainly not saying that I'm some expert on this, so I can only look at it. But what's it's showing me is painting a portrayal that, for me, doesn't necessarily say AMC's in the right here. It makes me think, yeah, Darabont seemed to have some issues trying to make this show work, and they didn't give him a chance. That's my takeaway I'm taking.
I mean, this is all going to be settled. We know that eventually, it could take years from now, there will be a settlement between AMC and Darabont. We'll never know what it is or how much it's for. But he's just making his case, and some of the stuff leaks out into the public domain because he filed this with the New York County Clerk in pursuant to his case. So anything with Walking Dead hits the newswire, and here we go. We're talking about it. So I mean, it's all Hollywood. It's all now it's legal.
And he's outspoken.
Oh yeah,
right.
He's not quiet.
Someone scared. He's never been scared to voice his opinions. Like a lot of people don't want to be looked at as a villain in a story, right? So they kind of be quiet. They won't say anything and try to just do it through the courts. But stuff leaks out, and that fear keeps people from sometimes when they feel like they have a case, they won't even bring it up because it's not worth it to hurt their career down the line.
Right.
He is someone who's always been outspoken. Like that's kind of his thing, like to be honest and do the things that he works on projects he wants to work on. So he's in a position to kind of stay with this and not worry about what the public thinks about it.
He was. I'm reading a piece of the email. It says he was commenting that some of the dailies that were shot in this first episode of season 2. He goes, "Seeing those dailies today left me gobsmacked and thinking I should fake my own death, leave town, and live under an assumed name. There are some shots we can use, but only a few. We reshoot the whole thing." He's like, he's like a high school kid could have done better.
I don't know how this shows someone is unhinged. Like that doesn't show him. That shows someone dissatisfied with what the studio's getting him to work with. That's what I hear.
AMC is claiming he was unhinged. That's their argument. That's
the painting. They've been trying, like they painted him as being when you're outspoken. I've seen that. Like if you're outspoken, blogs or internet news or whatever, or just news reporters will just talk about the lines that were sounded the most angry. So you sound like the crazy person even if you have a valid reason for the comments that you make. But we're in Spin City, right? This is kind of how it goes. And people only stay with stuff. You got 5 minutes to tell me something, and then I'm out. Like when you start, court cases are not good for explaining the whole thing in 5 minutes, and that's why people take sides. And sometimes it's not something where you can take a side. It's something where you can work it out over in courts later.
We want that little clip. He goes, "Did ACAM have an epileptic seizure? This footage exhibits no was it instinct at all. Watch the second half. Take away we could have gotten some usable footage. Blah blah blah. Epileptic seizure because the operator's whipping the frame and snap zooming. So he's critiquing the camera work, obviously, of the way it was shot.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, they said they lowballed the
crew, right? Yeah,
they lowballed the crew. Yeah, and he's nothing wrong with being angry about that, especially if you're a good filmmaker, a good TV producer. You want it to be right. You want your people to be competent, not just throwing the bare minimum of effort or skill. So nothing wrong with that.
Interesting. Okay, well, it'll be in the courts. If anything else comes up, we'll definitely bring it up. I mean, it's not really germane to the continuation of The Walking Dead. It's going to continue one way or the other, but it's interesting to see some of the infighting in the drama, I guess, especially involving Darabont, such a powerhouse there. All right, any other news? Any items you guys want to cover? Or?
Jimmy mentioned the Telltale games. Have you finished the third season? Walking Dead?
No, in fact, I got this bundled against some of the other games that were on it that I missed. So I have the coupon now for the third season when it comes out in full. So I'll play it all at once.
I'm gonna try to see if I can buy it tonight. If I can get it tonight.
Yeah, HumbleBundle.com.
I just bought it. The $15 is worth it too. You get the Batman Telltale and all that. So
I've played the first 3 episodes of it. It's 5 episodes total, and I'm really digging it. It has a new perspective going on. But Clementine's still involved in the story as far as people that know what we're talking about with the
cool.
Walking Dead. Actually, Kirkman did answer a question concerning if Clementine ever show up in The Walking Dead, and he gave an answer that I haven't really heard before. I started spiraling around, but it's he gave the same reason that Daryl will never show up in the comics. It's that like the idea of having a character you can focus on depending on how you're taking in The Walking Dead is how he likes it. So if you're focusing on Walking Dead, you have Rick and those people. If you're focusing on the Telltale game, you have Clementine. If you're focusing on, or if you're focusing on like a comic series, you have Rick and certain people, but not the same. Like they're different universes that all have a Walking Dead stamp on them, but they have a kind of a differering perspective depending on how you decide to play it. So that's why it's not going to be too much crossover because he just likes it more of not complicating things too much. Like,
there's another spin-off right there. They could have Walking Dead, multiverse, and have like where there's different, wormholes and they're traveling through. It'd be cool.
I don't know about that. Anyway, but I played all the way through season 1 and season 2 and Michonne, and I also played the Telltale Batman game. I tend to like to wait till the complete version comes out rather than to buy each chapter.
Yeah, see, I don't binge watch shows, and so I don't like binge play games. I'm happy to play it like as they come out. That's it. I got busy, so I just got held back a bit. But I'm not playing all at once, so I'm looking forward to finishing it. Maybe we can record an episode by the time we all, the ones that play it do, because then we can talk more about that game and whatnot. Cool. But I do also know the Telltale made like a slew of announcements as Comic-Con happened, where the next season of The Walking Dead is going to be the final chapter. They announced.
They're doing another Batman game.
They're doing another Batman game. They're also doing another Wolf Among Us season. And I liked the Wolf Among Us quite a bit. That was cool. That made me want to read Fables. I still haven't gotten around to reading Fables, but it did make me more interested in reading Fables.
It's good. It's a good series. It really is. I was a Fables fan. I was really happy and pleased by that game a lot. And like I said, they aren't it's not like a first-person shooter or something where you need a lot of trigger time or a lot of training. I mean, it's mostly about choices you make, actions you take, and their consequences. So
It's digital choose your own adventure books.
Right. That's a good way to
Right. Exactly what it is.
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah. I haven't heard anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy game they've done, but
I haven't heard the greatest things of it. That's kind of
really?
I mean, I'm not saying it's like a pile of crap, but no, of the things coming out of Telltale, I don't hear anybody saying, "Man, well, Guardians of the Galaxy is the one that really nailed it." Like, I haven't heard that.
I was super surprised at how good the Batman game was. It really was.
Well, they need to get that game kind of right though.
I like my Batman, I like my Telltale, so it's just peanut butter and chocolate put together into it.
I mean, Guardians.
Some kind of concoction. I'm not sure what it'd be called, but
Yeah. What are your choices? It might not be that many.
which song to play.
What song? Right.
Daryl's version would be, do I shuck or do I jive?
Exactly.
Do I dance?
All right. Before we wrap it up, maybe a quick word from our sponsor, and we can make it official. Jim, if you do the honors, please.
DCB Service is a sponsor, and if you would like to get involved with like the graphic novel side of The Walking Dead, or if you want to get a cool Walking Dead T-shirt or action figure, or role-playing game stuff, or any of that kind of thing, you can find it at DCB Service at 30, 40, sometimes 50 or 60% off, depending on what you're going to get. And instead of dealing with a giant faceless conglomerate like you do when you order from Amazon, you're dealing with real people. You're dealing with real people who do really good work, and they have great service. I mean, I've never had a problem with anything I've ever bought from them. People I know that have had issues with them, they've taken care of their issues and dealt with them immediately. They're great people to work with in that right now. Every DC Marvel hardcover and trade. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just heard myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Every DC hardcover and trade paperback is now 50% off, which is a great deal. Also, I don't know if anybody's heard about the Captain America Secret Empire thing, where he's actually like a Hydra guy. They have a bundle there for like $12.44. That's a fraction of what you pay for the original comics. There are all kinds of stuff that as I mentioned, that isn't comic or graphic novel related. All kinds of geek stuff from Walking Dead. You got the McFarlane action figures you can order from them. You have the collectible card game. You have shirt, t-shirts, hoodies. And if you do want to get in on the graphic novels in The Walking Dead, then there are a lot of ways to do that too. You can get the big phone book size compendiums, or the hardcovers, or even just trade by trade to see if that's your thing at all. But you can get it all at DCB Service and their sister site, InStockTrades.com, at a fraction of the price you pay anywhere else. And you're dealing with good people. They have special discounts all the time, so you want to keep an eye on their website for stuff they have marked down. They do bundles, first issues. They have exclusives. Check them out, DCBService.com. We are so grateful for their support. All these mini episodes together talking about The Walking Dead.
Absolutely. They make it possible for us to be with you. All right. So, any final thoughts, guys? Or just want to
Hold on. Jim, you asked if anyone had any questions on the Walking Dead Facebook group.
I sure did. Let's see what they had to say. First of all,
sorry, I didn't see any there. Did they actually reply? I didn't.
We have
There's 3 questions.
Oh,
Oh,
3 questions.
Go for it.
Johnny Stewart jumped in. The end of the Comic-Con trailer. Obviously, they want us to think he dreamed all this in a coma, but could it be a shot from the future after a time jump? No comment.
No comments.
We read the book, so no comment. Because I mean, like we said a million times, this is like if the comic is Earth 1, this is like Earth 2. Because so many things are different. Yeah.
Don't tell him that he wakes up and he's in the Matrix.
Oh man, I can't believe you blew it. Mike Campanella wrote it in the Pam. Is Walking Dead the right weight loss program for me? I think you need to consult your physician to find that out, Mike. I'm sorry, I'm not a licensed dietitian or physician.
I mean, food is scarce, so maybe if that's what it takes a zombie apocalypse to lose a few pounds, and although it's not working
Brains
for
are
Jerry.
a good source of protein.
A lot of cardio in that show.
That's right.
Aren't too many fat zombies left, except the ones in the well.
Yeah.
And then finally, Mike Jones wrote in all the talk about The Walking Dead ending, curveball or clickbait.
Clickbait.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
It'll run for years and years. I'm sure. I think even if the comic is done, they'll find a way to stretch it out on AMC as much as they possibly can.
I mean, honestly, I can see AMC ending the show at some point. I mean, I think there's a kind of a limit to what do I know? I mean, Supernatural's on season 47, so.
Right.
They're going into 13 now, and they're trying to spin another new show off out of this.
Yes,
series.
they are.
But
Yeah, it's called Wayward Sisters. They already did a backdoor pilot, and they're looking to put it in as a
But
replacement.
CW is different because Supernatural's they keep it pretty cheap. I mean, they don't. That's the thing about it.
It's a good story though. It's really, I mean, other than their Leviathan season, it's been a solid show all the way through.
But the main thing about a studio though is it's the bottom line, and they keep the show profitable because of how they the sets where they shoot at and all that kind of stuff. I mean, AMC, it depends on a lot of it's going to depend on, is it cheaper to keep the show going, or is it just cheaper to just go to syndication and just end it? Like that's the main thing. Because Breaking Bad, even when it ended Breaking Bad, it wasn't the highest rated show in the world, but it was critically loved. But it wasn't like as much as people talk about it, it wasn't like everybody was watching it like other kind of shows. So it'll go to how much it's going to cost to keep these to keep it going.
That and there's just so much story you can tell. At some point you just have to end it.
Yeah, but they could do a reboot. What if they do a major time jump between season 12 and 13 or something, and then Carl's an old man, and Judith has grown up, and there's a whole new set of characters. I mean, they could keep it going that way. I mean, it's just.
Well, I mean, but they could do that as a spin-off, with the Walking Dead: The Next Generation or something.
Well, you don't even have to do it as
Walking Dead
because
Evolution.
Walking Dead is not a Rick Grimes thing. Like he's in that world, but there's nothing to say that you can't jump it and have it where Carl wakes up, do some little funny thing where Carl wakes up in a bed and he's 39 or something. Right.
I mean, that is what I wish the comics would be. I mean, because they are. It is a Rick Grimes thing. That's
Right, that is a Rick Grimes thing.
And that's what the show begrudgingly wants to hold on to as well. Like, I agree with you, it'd be nice to see something like that. It'd be really nice to see kind of like if they wanted to, I don't know everybody's thoughts on Lost, but if they wanted to go Lost where you have these kind of flash forward and flashbacks where you kind of like have a loose understanding of how things got to the way they were, but you have like Carl as like a much older character married to Enid doing stuff like and then like and thanks and have like a flashback to what came of Rick or what have you. Like there's ways to keep it fresh, I guess. But I don't see it coming. I mean, so.
They'll tie any bow around it and make it season 10 or season 12, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Now, if Fear the Walking Dead wants to have a complete entire reboot and start from scratch again, I'll all for that. Let's see that happen right away. I'll be happy to see it try.
I will say though,
get away with it more than Walking Dead probably.
but the ratings did get a little better so far.
stories got better.
Right, so it seems like again, it's way off where the main show, the original show is, but it did show some life support. It was going down all the way through season 2. Now it's kind of plateauing, kind of working its way back up. So I think if they turn the action up, turn the story up a little bit, make us more interested in those characters, it could be still viable. Look, it has better. It has better results in ratings than Better Call Saul, and they renewed that for the 4th season. So it's like at least the production cost, I'm sure, is a lot more than Saul. Saul doesn't necessarily cost that much, right?
Yeah. They film Albuquerque because it's cheap, and then they just use Albuquerque. But the fancy stuff in Saul comes from the fact they use GoPros and random things. So it's like it's not hard to show big.
Right.
It's more paying the writers than paying the effects department. But yeah, Walking Dead, you got teams of people working on makeup and CG all the time. But they're shooting in Atlanta with the hot heat all around. Can't imagine that being an easy thing to do.
Actually, they're in Mexico now with Fear.
Mexico with Fear, yeah.
Same idea. You're right. All right, guys. I think I can pretty much wrap it up. We'll be back soon. In the meantime, if our listeners want to hear us, just where can they do it? Let's see. Aaron, start with you.
You can find me talking about movies over on the other podcast I host with my friend Abe, Out Now with Aaron and Abe. We talk about the weekly film releases. We just recorded a Dunkirk/Valeria and the City of a Thousand Planets episode, which is a lot of fun to do, and I certainly recommend those movies, even on the big screen as big as possible. We also have really special bonus Comic-Con episodes. I talk a little bit about Comic-Con today, but you can hear me talk about it with a roundtable of 5 people, including my lovely girlfriend and the team from Weiss Blue, the site that I write for. We talk about Comic-Con in full for like a good hour, 20 minutes. We're very tired, but it was a lot of fun to do. But yeah, weekly film reviews and whatnot over there. You can also follow me on Twitter at AaronPS4.
Excellent. All right, Richard.
Well, besides this podcast, I'm on DC TV, which we just dropped an episode covering the last 3 episodes of Preacher, which was fun. You can follow me on Twitter at Chubtoad01 and same on Instagram.
Excellent. Daryl.
You can check me out on at the telenetworkpodcast.com. You can hear me and Jim and Donnie wrapping up all the TV and movie news that came out of Comic-Con. And you can also check out some interviews on the Sunday Comics Podcast. There are a lot of comic interviews on there that you can check out, as well as other podcasts on the network.
All right, and Mr. Dietz.
As Chubb said, I host a DC TV podcast with him and Jerry and Daryl. I'm also over on the Taylor Network podcast. I do Nothing's On, as Daryl said. Also, I'm on Paradigm Shift, D&D podcast, where we take our D&D game and edit it down into a listenable form and put it out there, and it's been a lot of fun. We have a lot of good feedback on that. And a new project coming down the pipe called Spirit of 77, which is something new we haven't really tried before. But keep your eyes out for that. And you can follow me on Twitter at Yoda Jones.
Excellent. I'm the host of the Auto Chat Show, Facebook.com/Auto Chat Show, at Auto Chat Show, and Twitter's Instagrams. Coming back from a short hiatus. We did do an episode with actually Mabel, the #1 Volvo girl, she's known as, and that was done last week, so you can check that one out. I'll be returning to recording tomorrow with Teddy, my co-host, back from the dead. We're a little bit of a hiatus, and we are looking forward to doing many new car reviews. We have 4 backed up we have to do, and many more to come. So stay tuned for that. Auto Chat Show, check us out. We'll be releasing that this week. All right, folks. So who wants to end it this week?
When there's no more room in hell and the dead walk the earth, remember, trailer views make all the difference. Watch it up.
That's right.
Hashtag do the do.